All right, welcome. I am ridiculously excited to be bringing you this ridiculously short stream this evening. So earlier today, BossKey drops some big news on us: the LawBreakers Q4 2017 content roadmap. Got this pulled up on their website, which is what you're seeing on screen right now, hopefully. And this is amazing stuff, honestly. This is just going to be my reaction, my live talking about this. Hop in here with me. Let's talk about this. Let's see where this is going to go, because I am excited for this. I am really pleased to see where BossKey is going with this. We've known a little bit about this for not quite a week now, because they had this image that they had shared with us previously, including 2 new maps, a new skirmishes feature, ranked mode, a new class, and more updates from their rapid fire system that they've got going on, where they basically have a patch somewhere in the LawBreakers universe every week since launch. It's been quite amazing to see that happen. Whether it's just a bug fix for a PS4 or a server-side fix to make tutorials and sandbox available for PS4, or legitimate game balances and things like that happening inside of the real game, they've just done an absolutely amazing job of keeping the content rolling, keeping the game moving forward, and making sure that we get everything that we really do deserve as fans and players out of this game. And they're just pushing that forward more. They're continuing that trend, moving forward through the end of the year. And I want to read through some of these things real quick and talk about what I'm excited about and some of the things that I'm seeing in here. As I said a minute ago, it's only been 4 weeks since LawBreakers was launched. They talk about this at the beginning here, but they also talk about how this is a game that is not just for, fire and forget once. They said inside of the text here, this is a game that's really meant to be long term. I'm actually going to zoom in quite a bit here so that we can see this text a little bit better. And the idea that they are playing that long-term game while also really looking for short-term wins, I think, is very apparent inside of what they are going to be releasing. Starting in September with the new onboarding experiences. This, in my opinion, is going to be huge for players that want to get into this game, but find the learning curve to be incredibly steep and frustrating. I got pretty lucky. I got into the private beta of LawBreakers back when it was private beta on PS4, thanks to a friend of mine, and I was able to pick it up and start playing within, an hour or two, had my bearings and kind of sort of figured out what I was doing, what was going on, and just took it from there. Not everybody wants to spend that amount of time, though. People want a little more hand-holding, and frankly, I think that's a good thing. I think people, in a lot of cases, I think people should be given, the kind of the lay of the land, the basic intros. I've done a couple of videos myself on YouTube where I talk about kind of getting into things a little bit, controller settings, and starting with Vanguard, and I want to continue doing those kinds of videos to help people get started in the game. But really, having a new onboard experience in the game itself is going to be great. Having the sandbox mode has already been really nice. I've played that a few times just to see what's going on, and it kind of gives you sort of a direction of things to start thinking about and start doing, and just pushing that forward even further is going to be great for the onboarding experience for new people. But I also like how BossKey in this article talks about helping existing players improve through the onboarding experience and the tutorial experience. So me coming into this game with like 40-50 hours of gameplay so far, there's still classes where I kind of just going, what I don't know, how do I play this? And so having these in-depth tutorials and videos and play modes where we can really learn things is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that personally. Of course, LawBreakers is going to continue their game improvements throughout the month of September and through the rest of the year. They are passionate about making sure that this game is well balanced, that everybody has a fair chance, that people are getting into matches that are balanced for their capabilities and their skill level, and I really appreciate that about what BossKey is doing in this game. It's one of the things that I love about this game. There's not this crazy meta about hard counters with certain characters. You can pick up a character, figure out how to play it well, and you can do well against any other character in the game. Now, the first new map, this is going to be released in September, according to the timeline that we're looking at here. This is the Namsan or Namsan, probably Namsan, I think is how it would be pronounced. But they're saying that this is taking place outside of the US, which is interesting. So not a part of the shattered, post-shattering United States where all of the other maps have taken place so far. So there's opportunity for us to see some different architectural ideas and different levels of cultural influence. And of course we're getting this big giant spacey statue right in the center of this map, which is going to be pretty cool. And if you look off to the left over here, this corner, this looks like it may be a crowd or some stands or something, maybe some chairs, or is that a garden? I'm not entirely sure what this little area over here really is, but there's a possibility that this is either a wall or maybe some stands or crowd or something. Don't really know. Don't quite understand what's going on over there. I could see that being just a two-dimensional wall going straight up, or being an angled kind of seating area. But we'll see what it is. We'll see what it turns out to be. This is going to be pretty cool though, having another map that ends up being at night. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. The existing night map, Red Falls, certainly does a good job of portraying the game in a night setting with all the lighting and everything, and it's a really fun map. They don't really give us a whole lot of hint about what this map is going to be designed around, what the layout and flow is going to be like. All they really tell us is that it's coming out in September. So we'll be getting this pretty soon, toward the end of the month, most likely, I think. Then there's skirmishes. This was something that a lot of people had a little bit of what is this kind of questioning about, and BossKey is finally telling us that skirmishes is really their answer to trying out new modes and having fun and putting just crazy different things into the game to see how the community reacts. This, if you've played Titanfall 2, this is basically what Respawn did with their weekly or bi-weekly or semi-weekly or whatever, however often they changed it, their custom game modes that Respawn would put into Titanfall 2, where we saw some really, really, really good improvements and ideas and options for the game that ended up having a dramatic influence over how the game played out in the last 6 months. So I personally am very excited to see skirmishes. They are going to be putting Team Deathmatch into skirmishes at first. What's going on, Panda Gaming? How you doing? We're just talking about the update, the roadmap for 2017 with BossKey. I'll be playing a couple of rounds here in a few minutes, but for now, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because I'm excited about it. And the idea of skirmishes, they're going to be putting in the Team Deathmatch, as I was saying just a second ago, as their first skirmish, which a lot of people have been asking for Team Deathmatch. A lot of the reviews out there have noted the lack of a Team Deathmatch mode in this game. So, we'll see how this is going. Oops, excuse me, pressing incorrect buttons there. So yeah, we'll see how the Team Deathmatch does. I personally, I don't know, Team Deathmatch. I'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. I know we kind of sort of get the feeling of Team Deathmatch when we have those extended 120-second warm-up periods waiting for other players. So I don't generally have a ton of fun in that warm-up period. Maybe if it's a little more focused, maybe if they do something a little more unique with it, we'll have to see what they do with it. That's really what it's going to come down to me, because Team Deathmatch is, I don't know. I prefer objective-based gameplay at this point in time. The competitive mode, this is also going to be huge. This is one of the things that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. You've already been seeing a lot of competitions around this game popping up all over the internet. People are organizing their own tournaments and doing competitive-based gameplay, and the custom game modes has already supported this really well from some pretty early on days, from the second or third, I think maybe the second beta on PC. They've had the custom game modes with options that can really make it a little more competitive for people. And so it's going to be really good to see an actual competitive mode, ranked mode, put into the game. I will probably do my best to actually rank in the boss leagues, as they call it, but I don't know if I'm going to play all that much for competitive mode. I'm not not really the competitive mode kind of player, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I do get a little competitive when I am playing, but I don't like having to put in the hours, having to put in the time, having to, you know, all the requirements that ranked modes tend to have. But I'm interested in seeing what BossKey is really going to do with this and see how this works out. I know a lot of other people are excited about it though, so it's definitely going to be good to see that and see what comes of it. Along that front, I think the way that they are talking about this, the way that they position this next map, Gateway, this sounds like it's going to be directly related to the BossKey, the Boss League's ranked mode that they just talked about. And I say that just because of the positioning that they have in the article. They're already talking about how they love Blitzball so much that they built an entire arena for it, which is really a cool thing. I think more maps with Blitzball is definitely going to be a good thing, because there's only a few maps that we get to play Blitzball on right now, and that kind of bums me out, to tell you the truth. I want to see it on more maps, and looking at the screenshots here, this is definitely going to be a cool map. Now, when I first saw this particular shot, it confused me at first. I'm going to zoom in on this quite a way so we can see all of the things that I noticed here. The first bit that you'll see is that this is basically a round arena, not with like a one side, other side football field, but really truly circular. And that was odd to me. Like, how are we going to play Blitzball in this circular arena, especially with all of this open space out here? And why is everything round? And where are the goals? The goals can't be out here because there's just empty space. And then it hit me, like, oh, I get it. Okay, the goals are actually going to be back here in these darkened entryways. So, you know, blue team on the left, red team on the right, whatever it ends up being, Law and Breakers, whatever side they're on. Looks like there's doorways right here, or perhaps this is the goal. Either the goal is going to be back here. Well, no, I take that back. As I'm looking at this, as I'm talking through this more, I think these are going to be the spawn zones. So you're going to spawn back here. This is basically going to be where you spawn. This is going to be where you come out. The ball, I don't know where the ball is going to spawn. It will probably be out here somewhere. If we look at the screen above, we can see that area. Are we actually looking at a scene behind? Or are we looking at one side of this? We're looking at one side of this. This is interesting. The more and more, because more and more as I look into this, I'm seeing this in a different way. I'm seeing more detail about this. Because if we look at this bridge right here, what is essentially the railing on a bridge, with this bridge in the middle, we can see that this is probably the bridge area toward the middle. We can see kind of this red poking up here. I would expect that this... I don't know. I can't quite put all of this together, but I suspect that this would be one side, one team's area entirely. I think I was completely wrong about what I was saying earlier about spawning on either side of this, with this being the one playable area. I think this is round because it's symmetrical. There's a duplicate area on the other side. This is the red side. The other half of the map behind the camera is going to be blue. This will be the spawn zone back here. You'll have two doors to exit the spawn, and the goal will be right here. Obviously, it says goal right there, so this will be where the goal is, inside of this tower here. So that gives you, as a defender, some fairly quick movement to get out of spawn, get into the goal area in order to defend. You've got this wide circular path that you can travel, which would be an interesting idea. But then the majority of the gameplay is going to probably be focused in this direction, moving toward me, to and from the camera, in terms of getting to the other team. So the ball will probably spawn on or near this bridge, which, looking at the screenshot above, is probably going to be inside of this round area in the center where the scoreboard is. Looks like there's doors on either side of that. So if there's going to be doors there, doors on the outside, the bridge will go into this area where the ball will spawn. We'll be able to get into it from either side. This makes me wonder, though, where is the 0G zone going to be? That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Is it just going to be in the center area? Honestly, I'm kind of getting tired of just the center area being the 0G zone. I'd like to see something a little more unique. Maybe they're going to do the 0G zone out here somewhere, out in front of the arena, in between, you know, these two, whatever these are, on the edge of this thing, and moving in this area for the 0G zone. That'd be a little more interesting, although it's kind of a big open space where you'd have to get some really fast movement. You'd see a lot of the faster characters going through there, but a lot of the slower characters would probably avoid it. Certainly, though, this will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Now, moving on toward the end of the year, we've clearly passed September at this point. They are adding a new class. And if you've ever played a game with a heavy Gatling gun, this is almost certainly a Gatling gun in this area down here. This looks like it's probably just some part of the clothing hanging off the back of him. It may be something related to the ult. The shoulder weapon, a lot of people have been saying this is probably the same shoulder weapon that Enforcer has for his Bloodhounds. I don't think that's going to be the case, because the Enforcer does not carry that on top of his shoulder at all times. It's on his back, and then when the ult is ready, it pops up. More than likely, this is going to have something to do with either aim or being maybe a laser system. Think more like Ion inside of Titanfall 2, where you have this shoulder laser that pops up, fires, and then drops back down, but maybe sitting there more permanently. So it could be to dealing with aim. Maybe it has something to do with like a smart core, like Legion has in Titanfall 2, where this will lock on, and then all the bullets or even lasers that you're spraying out of this Gatling gun are going to be able to lock on to multiple targets, which would be pretty darn cool to see. But BossKey is talking about how they are currently in production with this character. The character has been basically approved. You can see these boots, the muscular system on this character, the size of the armor. This is definitely going to be a heavy character. I do sincerely hope that this is a heavy character that has some speed, though. I don't want all of the heavy characters to be, you know, just completely planted on the ground like Titan is, unless he can do rocket jumping. And, you know, Jug can get up in the air with the boost that he has. But, you know, I want a heavy character that has some real speed in addition to the firepower. I want to see how well that would play out in balance. So it'll be exciting to see where this goes, where this new character fits in, and what the weapons actually are. My guess right now, though, is this is going to be some kind of Gatling gun, some kind of minigun. Like, think Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, where he's got the minigun that he's holding and just spraying bullets everywhere. But I don't really see this being bullets, because, I mean, if we think about the whole idea of Hadronium in this world of LawBreakers and how it powers things, and, you know, either with lasers or 3D printing bullets or as fuel for their movement systems or whatever the case may be, this is probably going to be a little more interesting than just another Gatling gun that happens to be held instead of mounted on the arm of the Vanguard. So, I'm thinking lasers. I'm thinking this would be a really cool laser Gatling gun that you get to fire, and like constant fire, constant barrage coming out of this in lasers, not in bullets. That'd be a pretty cool thing to see. And then this being another laser on their shoulder would also work out pretty well in that regard. So then there's also, moving down below this, there is one last map, this new map, Valhalla. This is kind of the code name that they have for it right now, which they talk about a little bit down below. These are screenshots from when this map was first being prototyped in the early days of the game. I think this is some artwork that they had, and these are some early renders with polygons and shading and texture and everything, just to get an idea of what this would look like with trees floating around and various things going on. But what's really exciting about this particular map is not just that they're bringing this back from the early alpha and prototyping days when this was called Project Blue Streak instead of LawBreakers, but that they have concept art now showing us that this will be the first asymmetrical map in the game. It is not going to be a cut and paste from one side to the other. And that's going to be a really exciting thing for how this game plays out. This building is not symmetrical. There's a building over here and there's forest over here. There's these platforms. There's all these rocks and trees and things everywhere. And they're talking about environmental hazards, which is something that I really want to see inside of this game. They could do some tremendously cool stuff inside of LawBreakers with the environment, with the gravity shifting around and maybe having some of these platforms falling apart or moving based on gravitational waves, or having water or trees or whatever get in your way. Lots of cool things that they could be doing with this. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where this particular map goes and how this plays out. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I would also really like to see in the future the Hadronium Research Facility, the buildings that they used inside of the trailer for this game, where Gunslinger is sitting on top. I think it's Faust sitting up there eating the apple and tosses it over. And then there's that zero-G zone with that bridge, and everybody's fighting right there trying to get the Euroball. That would be a great facility to see as another map in this game for us to play. I would expect that to be happening at some point in the future. Have no idea when, because it's not in this roadmap, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. Lastly, they have a big, giant note about player engagement. Everybody asking about CCU. I don't know what CCU stands for. I'm guessing it has to do with concurrent users. That's probably, the concurrent users there. I don't know what the second C is. Whatever that term actually means, that abbreviation actually is. They are fully aware of the low player count and how frustrating it is to not be able to find games and to not be able to get games that are consistently matched up at your skill level. Excuse me a second. Which is a problem that I've had a lot recently, especially on the PS4. I know PC players have been complaining about this for a while, but even on the PS4, I'm really struggling at times to find games that are balanced. I'll end up probably once or twice out of 5 games I'll end up in a match that is just completely one-sided, and it's fun when you're on the winning team that's just slaughtering the other people, but at the same time it's incredibly disheartening to be on the losing team. And so you kind of have this feeling of, oh man, we're winning, but wow, this would be a lot more fun if it was really a better balanced game. And when I have those games that are balanced, where the teams really are well balanced and the scores range 6,000 7,000 on the top at both sides, down to like 2,000 or 3,000 at the bottom on both sides, and you can see good score distribution on both sides, that's when the game gets really fun. Except in Blitzball, where even though that may happen, you still end up with like 8-0, which is another problem entirely. But I mean, that's just kind of the way Blitzball plays out sometimes. But having that balance is an incredibly important part of a game like this. It's such a difficult thing to do with a low player count as well, because when you have a game that segments people based on skill, and that skill level really does make a tremendous difference because it is a skill-based game, it is so incredibly difficult to get that balancing right. And I complain about it a lot on Twitter. I know I do. But I want everybody at BossKey to know that I really truly appreciate the work that they've already put into making the team balance and the game balance and matchmaking improvements they have in the game that they've done already. It's improved significantly from day one already, and I'm very happy to see that they are continuing to focus on this, not just in the game code and balancing and everything else, but in their strategy for bringing new players into this game. That is ultimately what will be the long-term solution to this problem that the game currently has. the more players we have, the more data they have to use for matchmaking, the more options you will have for getting put into an appropriate match. And that just makes the game balance easier to deal with, because you don't have these giant disparities in players and one team of people that are good on their own, but they're all on their own, versus a team that is legitimately a team that just happens to be mediocre, but they play as a team, and so they slaughter the people that are playing on their own. I mean, it's incredibly complicated, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what, if anything, BossKey can do to address that when the player counts are low. But ultimately, I believe that the way they are pushing forward with the marketing, with the constant building of content, with the community outreach, with everything they're doing to make this game better, everything they're doing to produce new content and get new players in and keep players around, more importantly, this is all pointing towards a game that will long-term be incredibly fun to play and have, hopefully, a huge player base, like Rainbow Six Siege. That was totally the dark horse game of a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago now, I think it was, 2 or 3 years ago. And it's still, to this day, an incredibly popular game. I want LawBreakers to be in that situation. I want LawBreakers to have that longevity, that amount of love and care and support, because you still see all this great new content being released for Rainbow Six Siege. It's great. So let's get some love and respect and support out there for BossKey and help them improve the game by giving them the feedback that they want, by playing the game so that they can see that people really do like this game and want to see it survive long term. That's about it for the roadmap that they've got here. You can definitely go check this out on your own. There's a lot of detail in here that I really didn't talk about because, I mean, frankly, you can read for yourself. This has really been more my reaction to it, but be sure to check out lawbreakers.nexon.net to get all this. With that being said, let's get into a couple of rounds. I think I have 15 or 20 minutes before I need to get going. I'll see if I can get a couple of games played in here. Just going to close that window. Oops. Let me get my PS4 remote back up here. Dr. One, how's it going? CCU? Yeah, I don't know what CCU actually stands for, but it has something to do with concurrent users. I don't know what the second C means, but it's the number of players that are currently playing the game. The low player count is what they're really addressing in that. So, yeah, hopefully with all of the new content, they'll be able to actually, fix that problem. You can't read, Marshall? Well, man, I'm impressed. You've got either a really great screen reader telling you everything that's going on in chat, or you're just telling your son to type all of this stuff for you, which is even cooler, being the dad that gets his son involved in games. So good on you, Marshall. All right, I'm not going to invite anybody to play with me at the moment. I can only have a few minutes here before my family gets home in about 20 minutes, I think. So I'll just try to get in a couple of rounds real quick. I really just wanted to get this video done, this real quick stream, just to talk about the updates, the roadmap that BossKey has laid out there. Panda Gaming, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I figured out Current was somewhere in there, Doctor. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of gaming terminology that I'm not familiar with. Like when the PS4, when the game first released and they were talking about the whole hitching issue on PS4, I have no idea what hitching is. I had to go look it up. It took me like half an hour to figure out that hitching meant the frame drops. Like, all right, why can't we just call that frame dropping? So, hitching, MMR, CCU, all of these terms that I have no clue about. But I mean, eventually we figure out the basic meaning of it. That's it. Yes, Marshall, your son speaks for you. Absolutely. Your son reads it off the screen and types in your response. That's amazing. Wish I could get my kids to do that. In fact, I just want my kids to play for me. I'm going to be the dad that sits in the back and tells his kid to play for me because I don't want to do it myself. Ooh, I died. All right, son, jump. No, turn around. No, shoot. No, press X. No, jump. X. No. That would be a horrible way to play. That'd be kind of funny, though. Actually, try that sometime. Yeah, the whole roadmap. The whole roadmap is pretty awesome. Super excited to see all the things that they're going to be doing just this year.
I have gifts for you.
biggest issue right now is waiting a while to play a match, then joining one halfway through or basically done, and getting booted from the Nah, that is an awful experience. Everybody knows it. Ooh, I like that hair. That is quite the outfit here. Alright, we're playing Blitzball. Gonna play some defense. Played a little bit earlier today, and my Blitzball defense was potato-ness. But yeah, Doctor, that is... I completely agree. I got shoved into a match earlier. It was Blitzball. Oh no, it was Uplink on Trench. There we go. There's some defense. It was Uplink on... or no, Overcharge on Trench. And the enemy team had already scored twice before I got put into the game. Nobody on my team had any objective points. It was really bad. We made a good comeback though in that game. I ended up getting, I just miraculously went straight up to the uplink or the battery or whatever it was, grabbed it from the center after they scored their second point, took it back to our base. We scored it once, and we had it about halfway done through the second when the other team won. So we actually had a really good comeback. And ended up being a lot of fun trying to make that comeback happen, but still, the getting put into the in-progress games and getting booted from lobbies and it's frustrating and sad and everything else you can imagine for sure. But with the long-term plans that BossKey has, I mean, not even long-term plans, even with the short-term plans that BossKey has, just through the end of this year, I think it sounds like they're going to be doing some amazing things. Come here. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh, I can't believe I let you kill me. I totally should have had you. Looks like, oh, they got a Titan running it. Okay, nice slow Titan. I'll be able to help. Oh, there we go. I don't need to help. Where are we taking that? Are we taking that? Who's taking it? Oh, escape.
Expired. Ball reset.
Let's get over here. Oh, is that alright?
Ball spawning.
Alright. Come on, team. Nobody scored yet. That's surprising. Hopefully the game picks up. Truly believe this is the greatest gameplay experience out right now. 100% agree. I absolutely love the gameplay experience. Go! Run! Go! There's a kill. Runner protected. Thank you, Harrier. I appreciate that. Ball dropped. Let's get over here. Enemy ball. No. Come here, enemy. Where are you? There we go. Alright, let me have it. Let me have it. Let me have it. Nope, you got it. Okay.
Your team scored.
Ball scored! I got one kill out of that. Great kill. He could have played for you last night. Holy moly, apologize to Jimmy Shine for the debacle. Was trying to tune the controller, like trying to dial in stock for a race. Jeez, I bet. And you gamed for it because he had to go through the fire when he did it for TF2, so not going
Your team
absolutely. Scored. And seriously, dude, don't worry about playing poorly or whatever, you know. If somebody is joining my stream to play, joining in to play games with me, they have to know with certainty that we're gonna have these randomly crazy good games and these randomly crazy awful games. That's just how I play. That's, you know, one game will be awesome, the next 3 games will be just absolutely terrible, and then maybe I'll drink a little too much scotch that night, and the games will be even worse than usual. You know, it's all good. We have fun here. That's what matters. Ooh, look! No! I made a mistake! I'm sorry, team. I was way out of position. Entirely my fault. Whoop.
Ball
Kaboom.
spawning.
Who's shooting at me? Oh, you are. Come here.
That's the ending.
Die already.
Ally
Jeez.
ball.
Stupid assassins. Alright. This may be the only game I get to play tonight, considering how long it's
team
taking
scored.
to actually score here. I only got about 15 minutes left before my family comes home.
Ball spawning.
I'm trying to just play defense. I mean, I'm only 4-3.
Ball in
Getting
play.
a little boring back here. But at the same time, every time I
Ally
move
ball.
forward, they end up scoring. So what do you do? What do you do?
Ball dropped.
Oh, drop.
Enemy ball.
Kind of wish they would... Okay, here they come. Let's see which way they're going to go. That's the real question. They're going to come around this way. They're going to go center. They're going to go
Ball
left.
dropped.
They're still 150 meters away. That's really far away.
Ally ball. Ball dropped.
By the way, how's the game sound? It's just this is going so
Enemy
slow. I'm going to check
ball.
the game volume levels. Ooh, that's pretty loud, I bet.
Ball
It
dropped.
dropped that a tiny bit. Okay. Alright.
Enemy ball.
Come on. Enemy ball. Are you coming around back here?
Ball
Are you coming?
dropped.
No, you're dying. That's what you're doing. Well, our team is doing wonders out here. And I am doing nothing standing back there
Your
playing
team
defense.
scored.
Because there's nothing to defend. Alright. I could use a boost.
Ball spawning.
Okay.
Ball in play. You took the ball.
Let's go!
Ball dropped.
Ah, I tried to pop my ult. I tried, team. I screwed up the rocket boosting. I couldn't pop my ult.
Shot clock low.
You know. All that stuff. Trying to go berserk. And I went burp
Enemy ball.
instead. Enemy ball. I get
Ball
it.
dropped.
Come on. Oh, nope. He dropped it. Alright, team. Let's go. We can do it. We can do it. You gonna come over here so I can smash you? No, you're gonna go this way.
Shot clock
No, you're gonna
low.
go faster than I am. No!
Ball dropped.
Okay.
Shot clock expired. Ball reset.
Ooh, shot clock expired. Ball reset. Let's see if we can get back in here. Doesn't look like anyone else is in here at the
Ball
moment.
spawning. Ball in.
Alright, let's try this again.
You took the ball.
There we go. Pop the ult. Come here, Jug. Come here, Jug. There we go. Ha ha ha! Kill you. Thank you for the help there. My sister. Alright.
Ball spawning.
Giving that Titan offensive.
Ball in play.
Let me have it again. I want
Ally
it.
ball.
I'm selfish. Go, ally.
Bag 'em and tag 'em.
Your team scored.
Yay! Ah! I tried to get him.
Ball spawning.
Jimmy Shine was cool about it. I don't get worry. I don't worry getting smashed at these games at my age anymore. Totally. When you play with your team, like be helpful at what you're doing. No, I get that. I like to be helpful too. I mean, you hear me complaining about myself being way out of position and stuff, apologizing on stream when nobody on my team can hear me and nobody really cares. But
Your
I get
team
that competitive
scored.
nature as well. I try not to feed my competitive nature because I tend to get stupid when I do. And it's much more fun to just have fun.
In
All right.
play. You took the ball.
No, it's mine, you jerk. Excuse me. Whee! Excuse me. Armoring. Hello.
Scored.
You died anyways, and I won the game for us. Oh, what a great way to end. Friggin' Titan just stomping the ball through the goal. Alright, well that was fun. I think I do need to call it there tonight, people. 4th place, 3,500 points. But yeah. So that being a nice overview, my reactions, my thoughts to the 2017 roadmap for LawBreakers. I'm really happy to see what BossKey is doing with this game in the coming months. We're starting to get some new maps and all kinds of awesomeness here in September and moving all the way through the end of the year. New maps, new modes, new class to play, just tons of fun. And if you're watching this if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to check out my live streams on Twitch where this was recorded live. Twitch.tv/CodeNinjaGaming. You'll find a link down in the description and in the comments. Thanks for watching this. I hope you've been enjoying LawBreakers. I hope that you continue to enjoy it. Be sure to spread the word about this great game to all your friends, your family, your loved ones. Anybody that's tired of those slow-paced, boring shooters that are out on the market these days. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.